Hi, today I'm going to talk about using an electronic tuner. And that probably sounds like something that you wouldn't need any instruction for, but I actually get a lot of questions from people about how to use an electronic tuner. They don't understand how it works. And I'm going to show two different types of electronic tuners today. One is a clip-on type, and it clips onto the instrument, and it works off the vibrations that it hears. And then the other type of a tuner is either a handheld tuner, or you can sit it on something. And what it does is it picks up noises from around you. So if you're in a room that's noisy, or there's other people playing, you're going to want the tuner that's the clip-on type because it's going to work on the vibrations. If you're in a quiet room, then the other type works out real well. And the next thing that you need to know is the tuner is kind of like a parrot. You need to know what the names of your strings are because it's going to tell you what your string currently is. It's not going to tell you what the string should be. And what I mean by that is, let's say you know that the first string on your guitar is an E. And if you play it and your tuner says it's a C, it's not because the tuner's wrong. It's because your string hasn't been tuned up to an E. It's at a C right now. And then using your musical alphabet, you would say to yourself, A, B, C, D, E. My string is too low, so I need to tune it up until it's an E. And then once I get it to an E, I'm going to watch that tuner and get that needle straight up and down so that then the E is in tune. So it's only telling you what your guitar is playing. It's not going to tell you what your guitar should be. The nice thing about the chromatic tuners, and that's the type that I'm using, is it will tune any instrument. It'll tune guitars, fiddles, banjos. The only thing that I find with the automatic tuners is that they don't seem to work really well on low notes. So sometimes if you're trying to tune your low E, this one up here doesn't always pick it up. Some tuners pick up better than others, and some instruments the tuners can hear better than others. And especially if you have a vibration sensor, once again the kind that clips onto the end of the headstock, if your instrument vibrates more than another instrument, it's probably going to read that instrument a little bit better. And so sometimes if you're having trouble getting it to read the open note, you can fret it. You would just need to know what note you're supposed to be doing. In the case of the low E string, I suggest guitar players fret at the 3rd fret. That's going to be a G then, and so then you would tune that string to a G instead of to an E, and that seems to work pretty well for most people. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the E string on my guitar, my high E string, and I'm going to untune it so that it's not the right pitch so that I can kind of show you how to work this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera away from me now and focus it on my standalone tuner, and hopefully it won't be too blurry. Hopefully you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to focus that away now, and that's my tuner right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my E string now, and it's telling me right now it was on a D. Now as soon as I talk, it's picking up my voice, so then it starts registering other things. Now I need that to be an E, so I'm going to tune my string up. Now if I tune it the wrong direction, I'm going to notice it goes to a C instead, and then I know I need to turn it the other direction. Now I'm at a D sharp. Now I have an E now. It was registering E, but it was a low E. So let me play that again. So I'm going to raise it up a little bit more. And now I was right on the button. My green light came on, and that arrow, my little dial here, was straight up and down. Now if I'm looking at my clip-on tuner, I'm going to turn it on, and it's got a backlight on it, which is kind of nice. And then I can do the same thing with it. And now I'm right on the button for it. The next thing that you want to check when you're using your automatic tuner is you want to make sure it's set to 440. And I don't know if you can see that here or not, but it does say 440 here. If it says something other than 440, then you're not tuning to standard pitch. And most of the tuners, if you turn them off and then turn them back on again, they'll go back to 440. If not, you may need to press some buttons on there and it'll cycle through some different numbers until it goes back to 440. And then as you go through, we'll take a look at some of the other strings. I'll go to my B string now. And you can see that one was right on the money. And I go to my G string. And again, it's right where it needs to be. And my A string. Now that one is a little low according to my tuner. And now I'm right on in my low E. And that one was low as well. And now it's in tune. A couple of things you need to remember when you're using your electronic tuner. One is don't play the note so quickly that the tuner can't register what note you're doing. So if you're going through and you're playing your note and you're going, it's not going to be able to register the note that you're doing. So you play the note and then let it register. Some tuners are better than others. Some the needle's going to kind of go all over the place and you're just going to have to try to guess, try to make it as best as you can in the center. Sometimes, even though you have the correct note, the tuner may register a different note, and if it does that, you may have to use your ear a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate because we're always in hopes that that electronic tuner is going to help us not have to use our ear, but you do need to use your ear when you're doing it. So if it doesn't seem like it's right, it might not be. If your guitar has been in tune before and there's no reason for it to be really far out of tune, if you notice that you're having to turn something, one of your tuning pegs, a whole lot, probably something's wrong and you're going to break a string. So you want to, again, use a little bit of wisdom and decide whether or not maybe your tuner's working correctly. There is one other method that you can use for tuning your guitar that doesn't require a tuner, where you can check the different strings on your guitar, and that's something that I would do in a separate video. But because this one, the main idea is just to show you how to use that tuner. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more understanding on how the electronic tuners work, and hopefully you'll be able to use yours now. Thanks.